Kherson has existed twice as long as the entire Russia. The history of Kherson is perhaps the most confusing of all histories. However, the first mention of the settlement of our ancestors on the site of modern Kherson dates back to the 11th century AD.
Kherson owes its existence to the Russian Empress, Catherine II.
It seems that, as the famous meme goes, and here we go again. Yes, we do. Russia's founding of Ukrainian cities is a favorite fable of Russian propaganda. A native Russian city, Zaporizhzhia, Odessa, Donetsk, Luhansk, Mykolaiv. Russian historiography says that Catherine II spent 5 years looking for a favorable place to build the city, until Potemkin ordered to lay down Kherson on the site of the Alexander Shanks military fortification. The port city did not work out, because battleships cannot sail in this part of Dnipro River, but the city has developed as an administrative and industrial center. But what really happened, and why is the history of Kherson perhaps the most confusing of all? On various maps of the 14th, 18th and 19th centuries, the designated settlements appear and disappear in a strange way. The researchers explained this by different details that reflected the geopolitical and economic interests of different European states. However, the Kherson region could not be eternally Russian in any way, because the first mentions of it appeared long before the beginning of Russia. 1084. The first mention of Oleshcha, the name of a settlement on the site of Kherson at that time, appears in the Rus Chronicle. Back in the days of the Kievan princes, it was a port, a center of fishery and trade. In peacetime, it was a hospitable sea gate of the Kievan Rus state. Caravans of merchant ships with overseas goods came here, foreign ambassadors and candidates for Kievan Metropolitan were met here and escorted to Kiev. When the city was in danger, Kievan princes went to Oleshcha to defend, as the chronicler wrote, the ways of their fathers and grandfathers. 12th century. Oleshcha, called Mulisa, is mentioned on the map known in the West as the Book of Roger by the Arab geographer Al-Idrisi. Several centuries before Muscovy emerged, this area was not only inhabited, but was known internationally as a trading post. 1648. Debuplan's map. The settlement of Bilikovichi was already standing on the site of Kherson, 1757-1758. General map from Kiev along the Dnipro River to Ochakiv. 2 decades before Catherine II, the city of Kherson already existed alongside the name Alexander Shanks. Moreover, historians and archaeologists unanimously state that the territory of modern Kherson and the Kherson region as a whole has been inhabited since ancient times. The found burials and artifacts testify to the presence of settlements here in the 3rd and 2nd millennia BC. Scythian burials of the 4th and 3rd centuries BC and many other traces of civilization have been found here. 1778. Kherson was founded anew as a military outpost of the Russian Empire in southern Ukraine and the lower Dnipro, and at the same time as a base for the capture of Crimea. In the Kherson region, Russian occupiers forced Cossacks and peasants to leave their homes. They were replaced by Trans-Ural and non-black soil serfs. The region served as a major rearguard and logistics center in the Russian-Turkish wars of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. 1897. Russian Empire conducts a large census of the Kherson region. Despite the ongoing Russification and de facto genocide of the Ukrainian people, it turned out that the majority of people speak Ukrainian. March 1st, 2022. Russian troops seize Kherson. People resist, unwilling to submit to occupation. Soldiers of Kherson Territorial Defense resisted the superior troops of the Russian occupiers. They were brutally shot dead in the Boskovy Park in the battle for their country. Their mutilated bodies were found only the next morning. The exact number of victims is unknown. Fighting for Kherson lasted more than 8 months. November 11, 2022. Ukrainian military liberate Kherson from Russian occupation. People are taking out hidden Ukrainian flags that have been kept throughout the occupation and go to the central square of the city to celebrate the long-awaited deoccupation. Kherson is not giving up. Despite Russification, the city speaks Ukrainian. Despite the occupation, it keeps Ukrainian flags safe. Despite the shelling, it stays at its native home. And is it this Kherson that they want to call native Russian? Read more facts about Russian propaganda attempts to rewrite history on the website of Ukrainian Crisis Media Center.